373, week 6, part 7. So Coriolanus is a complicated guy, a strange guy. Um, most of us, if we do something wonderful, we would love it if someone had a ceremony to congratulate us and put a medal on us and have a bunch of people stand up and say how brave we are and how strong we are and how we saved the city. Coriolanus fucking hates it. Um, let's talk about why. Um, Coriolanus says to the general, um, sorry, zoom in, dude. Thank you, General, but I cannot make my heart to consent a bribe to pay my sword. Um, oh, I'm sorry. Before this, what usually in battles, after you win a battle, you get to take a bunch of jewels and gold and whatever. Coriolanus refuses. He doesn't want gold. He doesn't want. He's not doing it for gold. He doesn't, and most of the soldiers are excited to get treasure. And also, and let's say this and be honest about it, they're also swiping women. After the battle's over, the soldiers are sort of allowed to plunder the city, which means they get to take any gold or jewels or valuables home with them, and they also steal women and rape them. Coriolanus is not interested in any of this. Um, Coriolanus, he says, I cannot make my heart consent to take a bribe to pay my sword. He feels like taking any money would be like a bribe. I do refuse it and stand upon my common part with those that have held the doing. So he just wants regular soldier pay. He doesn't want any special money. Um, and the crowd is really happy with him because he's such a great soldier. He says, may these same instruments with you profane never sound more. He doesn't want to hear the trumpets celebrating him. When drums and trumpets shall in the field prove flatterers, let courts and cities be made of all false faith soothing. He feels like drums and trumpets is flattery. So he doesn't want money, and he doesn't want women, and he doesn't want trumpets blasting in celebration of what he's done. Um, the reasons are complicated. I'm actually going to move forward a little bit more to talk about why he doesn't like these things. But he says that drums and trumpets on the battlefield are like flatterers in the city. Flatterers are like people who follow, like when people are rich and famous, they often get flatterers, which are like people who follow them around and just say, "You're great, man. You're right. Good idea. You're a genius. That's brilliant. Let's do it right away." Yes, men. Or I guess in hip hop it's sort of like hype men, but just like supporters who will support you no matter what you do. It's one of the reasons why you see artists are really good when they're young, and then when they get old and famous, they stop making good work. Why? Because they're surrounded with flatterers. If everyone tells you all of your decisions are good, you need somebody in your life who's like, that's not a good idea. Don't do that. You need someone who's going to tell you the truth. Because a lot of people, they become like Kanye West becomes so famous. He's so great, and then he becomes so famous, and then he's so powerful that no one's going to tell him no. So he just thinks every idea that pops into his head must be brilliant. Um, it's why Quentin Tarantino makes movies that are so long, although his last one was really brilliant. We talked about that already. But Django Unchained. Anyway, I'm not getting into that. Okay, cool. But Coriolanus feels like drums and trumpets on the battlefield are like flatterers because they're just congratulations, congratulations. He doesn't like that. Um, he says when steel grows soft as the parasite silk, silk comes from spiders. Let him be made. Let him be made an overture for the wars. No more, I say. For that I have not washed my nose that bled or foiled some debile wretch with it. So he just feels like he hasn't even had a chance to clean up. You shout me forth in acclamations hyperbolical, as if I loved my little should be dieted in praises sauced with lies. So first of all, he doesn't. It's acclamations hyperbolical. He says that people. He doesn't want praise because he feels like all praise is overpraise. It's too much. And if someone says something about him, like they're like, "Oh, you're the greatest in the world," he feels like that's lies. Because people, when they're happy for you, will often exaggerate a little bit, right? So on your wedding day, they'll be like, "Oh, you're the most beautiful bride I've ever seen." That's what you say to somebody on their wedding day, even though maybe you went to another wedding and some bride looked even better, but you don't say that. Coriolanus feels like it's the same thing on the battlefield, that people are saying nice things about him, but they exaggerate, and that he doesn't want the lies. He feels like all even people just trying to be nice, like, "Oh, you look so beautiful." He doesn't want to hear it because he feels like it's lies. Um, and he says it right here in praises sauced with lies. So even if the praises are true, Like the meat of the praise is true. There's a little bit of sauce on top that's a lie. People exaggerate a little bit, right? So it's one thing to say you made a great movie, but it's another thing to say it's the greatest movie ever made. And see, but quickly people will move up, up, up because they're trying to be nice. So they say nicer and nicer things, and he feels like it's bad. Um, we'll talk more. I have a lot more to say about Coriolanus's relationship to flattery, but that's the gist of it. Um, I have a lot to talk about. I don't know what order to do all of this stuff in. Um, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going and come back to some of these thoughts later. Coriolanus is such a fascinating character to spend time with. Very, very. There's no one else like him. Very strange guy. Coriolanus, he does want one favor. He says, the gods begin to mock me. This is a really important moment that we're going to need to keep in mind because you're going to forget about this quick, and we're going to need to remember this. The gods begin to mock me. I that now refuse most princely gifts am bound to beg of my lord general. Take it, it's yours. What is it? He says, listen, I don't want any treasure, but I do have a favor. And they want to give him a favor because he's so awesome. They're so excited to give him whatever he wants. He says, I sometimes lay here in Coriolis at a poor man's house. He used me kindly. This is sort of in the movie. I don't know if you remember when he's in that apartment complex and there's like an old man and the old man gives him water. That's this. So when he was trapped in that area alone fighting everybody, he met a regular person that helped him out. He cried to me. I saw him prisoner. So that guy, so he met him, and that's not really in the movie, but someone was nice to him when he was trapped in that area of the city by himself fighting all the soldiers. One of the townspeople was kind to him. And he saw at the end of the battle that guy was taken away as a prisoner. Why did he miss that guy? He says, but Aufidius was within my view, and wrath o'erwhelmed my pity. So he saw this guy prisoner, and he wanted to release him. Someone that was nice to Coriolanus during the battle was taken prisoner after he saw him taken prisoner. He wanted to free him, to be like, oh, no, don't take this guy prisoner. He was good to me, because the prisoner's probably going to get killed. And he was like, let's let this guy go. But he got distracted because Aufidius was there, and Coriolanus loves a good fight, and nobody fights better than Aufidius. So he ran after Aufidius and forgot about this dude. And he says, I request you to give my poor host freedom. Well begged, were he the butcher of my son, he should be as free of the wind. They love him so much. He's like, even if this guy killed my own child, I'd let him go. Deliver him. Marcius, what's his name? By Jupiter, I forgot. I am wearied. My memory is tired. Have we no wine here? It's a neat moment, and you need to remember this because you're going to forget it. It's important because it's one moment where we see Coriolanus try to be nice to a regular person. It doesn't work. He doesn't know the guy's name. So a guy was nice to him, and he saw him taken prisoner, and he was like, we should let that guy go because he was so good to me. But then he sees a fight. Coriolanus loves a fucking fight, and he chases after Aufidius. Aufidius is his greatest enemy, and he gets in a fight with Aufidius. And then when the battle's over, he's like, man, we should let that guy go. And they're like, what's his name? Of course we'll do that for you, buddy. You won the whole war. What's that guy's name? And he's like, yeah, I don't remember. That was the one time he tried to do something nice to a poor person, and he just doesn't remember the dude's name. That guy's not going to come back or anything. It's an important detail because most of the play, Coriolanus fucking hates poor people so much, and he just hates them so much, and that's the one moment he tried to be nice. Okay, cool. All right, I think I should stop and say some bigger things now. I think I'm ready to. All right, I think I should talk about some. All right, I'll pick it up in the next video. I'll talk a little bit more about why Coriolanus fights the way he does and why he doesn't want flattery. He doesn't want any praise or compliments or honors of any kind. Yeah, all right, I'll pick it up in the next video, and I will see you guys there.